morning and welcome to ONIF TV. My name is Chris. Now to start off, the court has restrained EFCC and ICPC from probing Saraki. Because I said that some of Saraki's properties were actually seized by the EFCC, and we all know that the EFCC has actually been on his case for a while, and he also has police complaint, and there's been so many issues that have been opening up about Saraki. So following the seizing his house by EFCC, he on Friday filed two separate fundamental rights enforcement suits before the court to challenge the decision of the EFCC to seize his houses. And while that case is going on, every investigation and probing by the EFCC, ICPC, and even the DSS has to be put on hold until judgment is finally given. So basically, it's in the clear until the court gives the final order that you can continue or you can't continue. That's basically like that. Yeah. So we also said yesterday, we talked about Naira Marley and Zlatan being in prison, and that they were going to be arraigned by the EFCC. And it turns out that Zlatan and the other three have been released, by the EFCC. Rumor has it that Davido hired a lawyer for the guys that were released. Anyway, they've been released, and Naira Marley still remains in custody. Although rumor also has it that Zlatan and the other three guys that were released, they have to keep appearing at the EFCC office every day because they were just granted bail, as the case still continues. And Naira Marley is still in custody. That's the update on that. Now sadly, it's Leah Sharibu, that's the girl that was kidnapped with the Dachi girls by Boko Haram, a while ago. Then eventually everybody was released, and it was just Leah that was left in the Boko Haram custody. And different right organizations, have come out to fight for her release, but turns out just talking about it, has not done anything so far. But the government keep telling us that they are doing what they can do. Anyway, she clocked 16 yesterday, so her birthday was celebrated in her absence, and it was also, a day to ask the federal government to please do everything, that they can to secure Leah's release. And they were kidnapped on the 19th of February, 2018. So she's been there for a year plus now, and they said, and what we heard was that she was refused to be released because she didn't renounce her religion, she didn't renounce her Christianity. And Nigerians took to social media platforms yesterday to celebrate her birthday, and also come out to say that this girl has to be released. Obi Equesili, that's the convener of the hashtag Bring Back Our Girls campaign. The Bring Back Our Girls movement came out to also lament that despite the reassurances by the president, she has still not returned, and despite even international organizations being involved in the case, she has actually not returned. And she said, and I quote, that history will record that a young daughter of our country, hashtag Leah Sharibu, was left behind when her schoolmates were retrieved from terrorist abduction. She stood unwilling to negotiate her fate for freedom. Then she tagged Buhari that at Buhari promised, yet Leah is still with terrorists. She's 16 today. Tragic. That's what she took to Twitter to say. The former governor of Ekiti State, that's Ayodele Fayose, he also took to Twitter to say, as Leah Sharibu marks her birthday in captivity today, I join other Nigerians and lovers of peace in the world to urge the federal government to ensure her release. God will sustain her and her family members. Also, Femi Fani-Kayode, I'm just picking a few tweets to read out. Femi Fani-Kayode also took to Twitter to say that today is Leah Sharibu's birthday. She has been held captive by Boko Haram for over 400 days. Now, simply because she refused to renounce her Christian faith. She's a reference point for courage, strength, and faith, and a source of inspiration and pride for every believer. A popular gospel artist, Penam Pasipo, also composed a special song to, commemorate her birthday as he lauded her refusal to deny Jesus. The video has been shared by many social media users on Tuesday when it was released on the net. Atiku Abubakar of PDP, also went to talk about it. Amnesty International also, took to Twitter to say that the mother of the Asharivo and the entire family are still waiting. The wait is getting longer. Nigerian authorities can put a smile on the face of her mother and family by reuniting her with them. I mean, I can't keep going because I'm actually getting goosebumps, from reading all of this. It's been a year and still counting in captivity for Leah Sharibu, and our heart goes out to the family, and we really hope that the government does something about it as soon as possible. She needs to be brought back to be reunited with our parents and everybody. It has to be at that. Okay, now moving on. Police has threatened to arrest Anambra politicians over branded vehicles. The police have said that they have to stop branding their vehicles. 17-day ultimatum, actually. They have a 17-day ultimatum to stop branding vehicles or risk execution. He said that information has reached them that hoodlums in Anambra State are using the branded vehicles to perpetrate evil, branded or unmarked, tinted vehicles with covered plate numbers to perpetrate crimes in the state, and it's not lawful. So he has given a directive that after 17 days, 17 days, and the brands come off and the plate numbers are obvious, and otherwise anybody with an unmarked or branded vehicle will be arrested. That's what the Anambra State Police is saying. Okay, yesterday we talked about a guy that failed his jump and then took to social media, took to Twitter Live to do a suicide video. That he did his suicide video live. He's still in the hospital. We've not gotten details from that. But another sad news is that an undergraduate of the University of Nigeria, Nsukka, Chukwuemeka Akachi, he committed suicide after stating his reasons on Facebook. I mean, this is really okay. He's a native of Nsukka. He's a English and literary student in UNN. He carried out his threat by taking a poisonous substance. He said that the guy had a long battle with dementia before he actually took his life. People have actually come out to say that he was a great writer, great writer and poet. And on his Facebook, where he posted his suicide note, he wrote, and I quote, forgive me in case you are the one who found the body. I'm really sorry. It had to be someone, and I have chosen a Joe Nketiah's poem as my suicide note. And what he said was, they said you came looking for me. I did not drown. I was the water. Then he said, where do atheists go when they die? Lord and amen. And previously he has had a previous Facebook post to say that my mental health has been on life support for a while now. Thanks to those who call, text, visit, speak to me. May we always remember. May we never forget. You may have added few hours, months, or days to my time here, but life support is expensive, right? Thanks for trying. Amen. The public relations officer of the Enugu State Police, he described the incident as unfortunate, and he said police had commenced investigation into the circumstances surrounding the death. And well, like I said yesterday, it's it's just depressing to talk about, to even think about. And the fact that mental health is something that is something that is actually getting really bad. I don't think it has been this bad in Nigeria before. Or maybe it's actually social media that is making it obvious that this thing has been happening for now. Either way, it's looking like something that has really come to stay. And it's another tool. It's terrorism in its own way, because when you keep going to social media and you keep hearing that this happened to this person and this person took his own life because of this and that, it makes people that even have the fight in them, it makes them want to actually lose the fight. So like we said yesterday, you can drop the contact of any hospitals, mental health people that can actually help with mental health, and you should also try to call people, text them, and make sure that regardless, even if it might seem one-sided, you should just try in a way to keep in touch with people. And when you see a social media post that speaks volumes of depression, or that makes you actually question the person's sanity, I think it's always advisable to reach out to the people that post this sort of things. It's always advisable, because from what we're seeing, he has actually had, if you go through his Facebook, actually, you see that he has, I don't know if they've taken it down yet, you see that he had previous posts about him has always been, if you read it very well, you know that this guy is not balanced mentally, so we should actually not let things go just like that. Okay, so moving on, the AFCON 2019, John Mikel Obilas, the former the Super Eagles captain, he has said that he will be playing, for AFCON, and he will be playing for Nigeria, in AFCON, and he basically said that Nigeria will lead AFCON this year. So Nigeria 25 Eagles are already set to camp for AFCON 2019. So wish our Nigerian Super Eagles, we wish them the very best, and of course we'll keep cheering for them, and we hope that it's actually a very, very good play for them. And updates when the AFCON starts, and updates will definitely come to you from here. So again, we're saying that Lagos is set to demolish 69 buildings, no fewer than 69 buildings, for the extension of a dual carriageway at along Kosoko Road in Ojodu Bega area of the state. They want to demolish them to expand the road and make it a dual carriage. They said that it was aimed at improving to beautify the area, which he described as a gateway to the state, and he said that he has urged residents of the area to cooperate with the government and government officials that would actually do the demolition and carry out the exercises. And he also told them to that they should endure the inconveniences that the road construction is probably going to cause for a while, but the end results will be better. That's what he has come out to say. And people that their houses will be demolished, I think definitely they will be compensated. That always happens when a house is about to be demolished by government order. I think they always compensate the people. And Nigerians must now appear for in-person for visa renewal. For a while now, we've realized that getting the US visa for Nigerians has become tougher and stricter for Nigerians in particular. So the United States Embassy in Nigeria has announced stiffer and stricter visa application process for Nigerians. That said, in a statement that all applicants, including frequent travelers, so no excuses, who used to use the Dropbox method will now have to appear for interviews each time they apply. It said that, however, diplomats and government officials could, continue to enjoy the status quo, but every other person would have to appear in person. And this is effective Wow, as at the close of business, that was yesterday, Tuesday, 14th of May. So definitely from today, anybody that wants to renew their visas has to appear physically at the United States Embassy in Nigeria. He also said that all applicants in Nigeria seeking a non-immigrant visa to the United States must apply online and will be required to appear in person at the United States Embassy in Abuja or the United States Consulate General in Lagos to submit their application for review. Applicants must appear at the location they specified when applying for visa renewal. Processing of diplomatic and official visa, that AG and NATO class visa application will remain unchanged. Well, he said that they are also working on procedures to make sure that the visas for Nigeria, processing visas, is faster and efficient and also secured. Well, basically, the US has a right to say what they want to say about, coming Nigerians are going to come into the country. But this has a whole, it has the handwriting on the wall here is that, okay, there's a fixed mindset about Nigerians that people have come to have, and they're not taking chances any longer, and we actually want to see you people before you enter our country. I think it's not fair that some Nigerians have come to put the whole country under in the line of fire, so to say that it's okay for the US government. I'm just saying that some Nigerians definitely have put a dent on the tag Nigerians, and that we have to undergo stricter policies to actually enter any country. It's actually really not fair to everybody. So everybody has to try to just, I don't know, it's a development that is looking like it has come to stay. Now, okay, the 9th National Assembly that they'll be resuming soon, and 469 members are to receive a 4.68 billion naira welcome package. Yep, you heard me. So they are to receive all of that. The package is to help them to sort out accommodation and furniture issues. According to, well, they said the accommodation and furniture is paid once every year. Furniture allowance is paid once in every 4 years. Each of the House of Representatives on resumption, therefore, is entitled to 9 million plus, according to the prescription of the remuneration package for political public judicial office holders, that's 2007 to date. The summation of furniture allowance of about 5 million naira and accommodations allowance of about 3 million naira, that's more than 3 million naira and more than 5 million naira actually, which each member of the House of Representatives is entitled to. Therefore, the 369 lawmakers that will make up the House of Representatives would basically be entitled to accommodation and furniture allowance of 3.57 billion naira. Let me not even go into the details of this. Has been happening for so long, and like, what? I mean, it's something that we keep talking about and keep letting it go, that the senators, the representatives, the amount that they get paid is actually wow. And the fact that they actually get paid for furniture, accommodations, sitting allowance, they actually get paid, the government pays them for their personal assistants and helps, hired helps that they have. They get paid wardrobe allowance, they get paid sitting allowance, they get paid a whole lot of allowances that amount to millions and millions and millions of naira. And we have some people that have been in the Senate for 12 years and still counting. It's I don't know, I feel like there could be a cut down of the amounts that they are being paid. And I mean, 30,000 naira minimum wage took a while before we could even win the fight. It's just, it's just, what's your opinion? I feel definitely everybody will have an opinion concerning that. What do you think? I mean, they're entering now and getting about 9 million naira each, for actually more than 9 million naira each for allowances, for accommodation, and to sort out their accommodation and furniture. Okay. So the governor of Ondo State is asking for federal government support in growing of cannabis in Ondo, that's marijuana there. He has expressed the need for the cultivation of medicinal cannabis, also known as Indian hemp, in the country. He described Ondo as a hotbed for cannabis cultivation in Nigeria, and also urged the federal government to support the growing of medicinal cannabis in large quantities in the state. Said that the cannabis industry is actually capable of creating thousands of jobs for youths and to spur economic diversification, in the country. He made this request on his Twitter handle on Tuesday, that was yesterday. According to him, Nigeria might be shortchanged an estimated value of $145 billion in 2025 if it fails to tap into the legal marijuana market. Explaining that their visit to Thailand was to assess materials and best practices of medicinal cannabis, that's marijuana, with a possibility of replicating them in Nigeria. And he said that they are going to, study how cannabis can actually be more of an advantage for Nigeria, as the Thai government, as it is helping the Thai economic situation. So there are a couple of our A-list American celebrities who actually make their money from the cannabis industry. Actually, somebody like Whoopi Goldberg is actually, she is involved in the production of medicinal marijuana. So, well, if what was your opinion? Basically, the government hasn't said anything, about it yet. It's just that it's a trending discussion on social media now. So, I'd like to know, what did you think about the growth of medicinal cannabis, that's in marijuana? And I'm sure that there'll probably be a system put in place to make sure that it is not abused, and all of that. That's the bit for now on ONIF TV. My name is Lola Chris. Thank you.